The following is a preview segment of boxing's most shocking moments of 2024, coming soon. Make sure to join our Patreon, link in the description. For more than a century, the Marquis of Queensberry rules have governed the boxing world, creating one of the most aesthetically pleasing sports ever. These rules elevated the sport from the grimy depths of underground bare knuckle into a multi-million-dollar industry, emphasizing athleticism and skill over the primitive notion of win by any means necessary. But in 2024, a bout took place that made many a fan ask, what is cheating? Since turning pro in 2015, the undefeated junior welterweight Devin Haney was finally enjoying some fame. In 2022, he graduated from prospect to champion when he traveled to Australia and easily decisioned the lineal lightweight champion George Kambosos. In 2023, he took on the former champion Vasyl Lomachenko. It was a competitive bout, but most agreed the Ukrainian had landed the cleaner shots throughout the bout. Somehow, the judges awarded the fight to Haney. The logical route would have been a rematch, but Haney, guided by his father and trainer Bill, claimed a clear victory and moved up to the 140-pound division. There, Haney outboxed the hard-hitting titleist, Regis Prograis, virtually winning every round. Now, the Haney fans lauded their fighter as the next pound-for-pound king, as well as the next Floyd Mayweather Jr. But upon examination, Haney's career appeared overly reliant on crafting false narratives and playing games. In 2021, the Haneys began a campaign accusing the lightweight champion, Vasyl Lomachenko, of ducking them. In 2022, after the Australian George Kambosos had taken the championship from Teofimo Lopez, the Haneys dragged out negotiations with Kambosos. Lomachenko stepped in and quickly agreed to all the demands, making the Haneys look afraid. It was only thanks to special circumstances that Haney finally stepped up to the plate. A year later, Haney pulled a similar stunt, delaying negotiations with Vasyl Lomachenko.
So why hasn't that deal been closed yet?
Lomachenko did close his side of the deal, and Haney wasn't able to close his side, but I do think this one's actually going to be resolved in the coming days, if not next week.
In 2023, Haney rightfully received credit for outboxing Prograis, but Prograis was an older fighter, and the Haneys only decided to fight him once they were convinced they could beat him. This further added to the reputation of being overly cautious matchmakers. Despite the Haneys' Machiavellianism, Devin failed to generate the expected fame. The Prograis fight had done well at the gate in Haney's home state of California, but the pay-per-view numbers were rumored to have been desultory. In an interview, Haney tried to play coy about the numbers, but it didn't take a Quantico-trained agent to read his body language.
Honestly, I haven't even got the pay-per-view numbers yet.
Do you have any kind of sense, or not yet?
Not yet. No, I don't have it. I don't have the numbers yet, but shortly.
Still, his fans, along with many in the boxing media, were quick to anoint him as the next great American superstar. Meanwhile, a faded one entered the fray. Ryan Garcia was in a unique position. He'd become famous before having accomplished anything of note as a boxer, instead gaining a massive following via social media. His fans comprised mostly teenage girls, along with what we can only refer to as particularly festive men. In 2018, Garcia stepped up in class against French contender Carlos Morales and looked horrible in a clinch-filled affair that saw him stunned by a jab. By then, rumors circulated of a strained relationship between Garcia and his promoter, Oscar de la Hoya. Allegedly, Garcia refused certain bouts and demanded outrageous clauses. Afterwards, however, Garcia began to move correctly. He hired Eddie Reynoso, trainer of Saul Canelo Alvarez, and notched impressive knockouts with his vaunted left hook. In 2021, he fought former titleist Luke Campbell. Now adopting a more aggressive style, Garcia tasted the canvas, but rallied back and became the first man to halt the Brit. Despite the improvements, Garcia once again displayed his unbalanced nature. After the best showing of his career, Garcia retired, claiming mental health issues. The boxing world rallied to support him, but within weeks, he was back on Twitter, this time mocking his future opponents. This left a bad taste in fans' mouths. Predictably, Garcia returned in 2022, but missing in his corner was Eddie Reynoso. Garcia replaced Reynoso with the underrated Joe Goosen and continued fighting in a more aggressive posture. The performances convinced him that he was ready for another undefeated lightweight, and he took on the undefeated Gervonta Tank Davis. Talks of a bout had taken place beforehand, but as it often happens between American boxers, the negotiations went nowhere. The two men decided to fight in the spring of 2023, but only after Garcia accepted Davis's terms. Allegedly, Garcia would be prohibited from taking a tune-up, while Davis took a stay-busy fight, and the bout would take place at a catchweight, along with a rehydration clause. Davis himself admitted he needed those conditions because Garcia was too strong, saying, "I'm just making sure everything's fair. And I know that Ryan Garcia is a bigger fighter. He already has the advantage, the size, the arm length, like everything. He has the most advantage. So I'm just making it a little fair." Against his promoter's pleas, Garcia accepted the terms. Despite suffering a knockdown early in the bout, Garcia fought well, pressing the power puncher and forcing him to clinch. But a body shot in the 7th left him paralyzed, and Garcia had enough. Some accused him of quitting, and Garcia would later blame the weight stipulations for his defeat. But there would be more targets for his corn. He returned in the fall of 2023 to face the heavy-handed Oscar Duarte. Once again, the drama returned. Garcia not only blamed the Davis loss on the weight concessions, but he also blamed his promoters, Oscar De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins, for allowing him to accept the terms, even though they had specifically told him to refuse them. Moreover, Garcia accused them of abandoning him after the loss, leaving him alone in the press conference. Hopkins and De La Hoya, however, claimed that they'd been threatened with physical violence via anonymous phone calls and were told to stay away from the conference. This was easy to believe, seeing as how Davis, no stranger to outside-the-ring violence and legal troubles, had often bragged about having hitmen at the ready.
If it was the streets, these niggas would have been smoked. And that's what it is. If it was personal, they would have been packing them up. Been an address, niggas at that house.
But Garcia remained truculent and even clashed with Bernard Hopkins during the Duarte buildup. But the promoter was not the only culprit. Garcia also blamed Joe Goosen for running an unsecured training camp. Moreover, Garcia would claim he hadn't lived properly during the Davis training camp. Did this mean that Garcia failed to take the biggest fight of his life seriously, while simultaneously conning the fans into purchasing a pay-per-view? As usual, Garcia wasn't thinking before speaking. In his mind, he was blameless. Predictably, he sacked Joe Goosen and hired Derrick James. Fittingly, the Garcia-Duarte bout was a bizarre clash, as Duarte pressed, while Garcia clinched, turned away, and bent over in a move which boxing fans dubbed the Bussy Roll. Garcia bailed himself out with a left hook and stopped Duarte. But the outside-the-ring problems, combined with his pseudo-sexual performance, suggested the end was near. To the Haney's prowling eyes, Garcia was the perfect opponent, a petulant but limited boxer who still possessed a big enough name to generate box office success. The only fighter who could rival Garcia's box office power was Gervonta Davis, but the Baltimore native was incarcerated. Thus, the Haneys picked Ryan Garcia for an April 2024 bout. The festivities started out with a bang as Garcia, now traveling with a bodyguard, confronted the Haneys.
You're not my friend, remember that. You're not my friend. Your dad's a fuck out you. You gonna feel some feel you ain't felt? We gonna talk about. Don't do that. No. Hey, what's up? What's up? Yeah, got him. Got him. Let's go.
Garcia then appeared on the Valuetainment podcast. Wearing a coat jacket indoors, Garcia spoke with a hoarse voice.
My son born 12/23/23. My mom born 4/4/64. You understand? Like, numbers have like spiritual meaning.
All while compulsively snacking.
So funny, they have a rivalry that goes decades.
And sticking his fingers into his mouth. He also displayed San Francisco mannerisms.
That's right, girl. All right, sister.
In another unusual interview, Garcia revealed an affinity for facial beauty tools. The big talking point before the bout involved Garcia and Haney having fought each other about a half a dozen times, with the pair splitting the bouts. Both fighters claimed to have given each other 8 counts during these fights. The theatrics intensified during the press conferences, with Garcia making lavish entrances. For many, Ryan Garcia had lost respect as a boxer following the Davis performance, and many felt that, once again, the Haneys had cherry-picked another opponent. Bill Haney rebuked the notion.
We really take Ryan Garcia serious. I think that it's a distraction. He's attempting to appear as a TikToker. I know him as a 12-time national amateur champion.
Aware of Garcia's lifestyle, Haney questioned why Garcia's voice changed.
And just to be really direct.
What the fuck happened to your voice?
So at the end of the day, I've been screaming for these promos, but I'm not even gonna react.
Then, approximately 1 month before the bout, things took a turn for the bizarre.
Oh, no, hold on, I don't know how that is, bro. Start dipping, bro. Dip.
Garcia, via his social media empire, released a cryptic video. Then, the account posted a nearly incomprehensible message, claiming Garcia had been terminated. The post included the number of the beast. The post also claimed that Garcia had been thrown into a basket, with the word through misspelled as through. Garcia resurfaced, rambling about having been kidnapped and abused by social elites, as well as having been privy to extraterrestrial contact via his high-profile connections. He elucidated all of this on a live Twitter space with media personality Andrew Tate.
All right, talk to us.
Bro, I don't give a bro. They held me down and they made me watch little kids get I don't give a anymore. They fucking tied me down and they made me fucking watch, dog. I don't give a bro. They raped me, right? I was 2 years old, they raped me. I have proof of that too.
Later, Garcia appeared with a video message to his fans.
Hey guys, it's me, Ryan. I'm coming on here to explain what's going on. I'm not in possession of my phone. I can't get access to my Instagram. I'm okay. I'm not dead. I believe in Jesus. They try to put me in jail. They're blocking my cards. I can't access my money. I don't know what's going on.
Garcia's father would later emerge, stating that his son was merely trolling. If Garcia was indeed acting out so as to sell the fight, then it was up to people's personal preference to decide whether his antics were in bad taste or not. However, as journalist Steve Kim remarked, Garcia had been acting as a proponent of mental health back in 2021. If Garcia was merely acting now, wasn't he belittling the plight of the mentally ill? Devin Haney was quick to point to Garcia's wild antics.
What kind of example are you for the younger generation watching this?
The world's gonna see me beat down Ryan Garcia, get him out of boxing, because he's definitely not a good role model and not a guy that, you know, the younger generation should be looking at.
NGQ, doing what I do. All white, looking nice. Okay, come through.
I don't know if Ryan Garcia is taking the fight serious or not.
Garcia's hijinks riled people up so much, to the point in which the New York State Athletic Commission ordered him to undergo psychological testing. Predictably, the commission ruled he was competent to compete. It didn't take long before Garcia and the Haneys bickered.
So I'm coming straight for his neck. I promise you that. I promise you, I'm coming straight for you. You're gonna need to help him, I swear. You're gonna have 3 opportunities to save him.
You know, Ryan does not want the fight to be here. Behind closed doors, he's tricking the people. He's doing anything that he can to make the fight go to Vegas on a later date.
I feel like if I wanted to, I could outbox you. Like if I just move on my bike and beat you, I could beat you like that. I just don't want to do it.
Please.
It's not fun to me. I can't fight the way you fight, bro. I'm sorry. I'll be bored.
Devin Haney, renowned for having his entourage talking for him, once again set his dogs on his opponent, and it brought the best out of Garcia.
What are you talking about, dude? You always talking, bro. You're the most annoying one in the group. Thank you, the Lord Jesus Christ, the King of Kings, Lord of Lords. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Hey, what if I came up there and I beat the out of you, motherfucker?
I bet you won't do it.
No, I'm on fire. I'm on fire. I'm on fire. I'll break this whole thing right now. That's how I'm firing. I'm strong. 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 And I'm louder than that whole team. They got like 5 people there. Look how loud. Woo! We couldn't hear you, bitch.
Even Bill Haney and Bernard Hopkins got into it. This after Hopkins suggested they go to the bathroom.
So, let's go to the bathroom. Huh? Talk to the bathroom for a minute. Go do what I'm going to do and I'm going to go about it. That's nothing. That's nothing.
Bill would later accuse Hopkins of not helping out the community.
He says he's from, and he was in the penitentiary, and somehow give off the image that he's doing something for the people. Well, he hasn't. Definitely everything that he's done hasn't represented me or what my people stand for. So I'm gonna get past that part.
As the bout approached, the Haneys continued downplaying Garcia's worth.
He know he don't have the skills, he don't have the IQ. Listen, he don't have the heart. We seen him quit. And I don't think that Ryan has got much better since the amateurs. I think he's a one-trick pony. I'm just a better overall fighter. It's nothing that Ryan can do that's better than me. Ryan Garcia goes in there and he just jumps on you with no real game plan, no nothing.
Haney was so confident, he dared Garcia to meet him in the center of the ring.
Devin, your father likes to make bold predictions. He told me earlier this week that you're going to knock Ryan out in the first round.
He get in there, he get reckless, he will get caught like we've seen him get caught before.
You're going to meet him right there in the middle of the ring, and you want to slug it out with him.
I don't think Ryan will meet me in the middle.
I just don't think you're going to go in the middle of the ring. That would be stupid.
Why?
All right, come to center.
Garcia and everyone else were correct in being skeptical. After all, Haney had failed to stop or even hurt the notoriously chinny Yuriorkis Gamboa and Jorge Linares. Meanwhile, Garcia, for all his faults, was a legitimate power puncher. Were the Haneys indeed overlooking Garcia? Many other people seem to do so, as based on some of these comments. For them, Garcia was completely devoid of skills. Former champion Timothy Bradley said Garcia had no chance in winning and made an outlandish promise.
If Garcia somehow pulls off the upset, oh my gosh, I might as well just quit commentary and leave the game alone, man. I'm not gonna lie, because I just don't see it happen.
Bill Haney, meanwhile, was busy obsessing over a recently released sparring video between his son and Gervonta Davis.
I said when Floyd met you and he showed you the quote-unquote sparring session and told you they all in it. They all in it and they're going against Devin. And what you're going to see is the face of boxing, and you're going to see the new way of watching boxing. You're going to see Devin the Dream Haney victorious and still. And he's against all of them. Floyd, Ryan.
The week of the bout, an altercation occurred. Garcia reacted like Linda Blair. Meanwhile, Bill Haney repeatedly said his light-punching son would do major damage.
It's going to be the death of Ryan Garcia in the way you guys know him. Saturday night, put your kids to bed. It's 18 and over, because what I'm sending Devin to do to him shouldn't be on TV. Saturday, this boy gonna pay for all that that he done did.
Told you we ready. Told you we ready. Told you we ready.
Garcia, for his part, remained consistently unpredictable.
When they get mad, it gets me excited. I just want to scream.
On your weight right now, are you gonna make weight? And is there any consequences to missing the weight now?
No consequences. I'll miss that if I want.
You win the fight.
It's my event.
You win the fight.
I'm kidding.
Garcia also confessed to being a regular Henry Kissinger.
You just tweeted that Donald Trump is coming to the fight.
Yeah, he is.
Did you talk to him?
Of course. I know all those guys. I know Bibi Netanyahu. I know all of them.
But the insanity was just getting started. At the weigh-in held in the morning, Ryan Garcia came in 3 pounds overweight. The Haneys, perhaps still underrating Garcia, accepted to fight, but only after receiving a substantial financial settlement. At the ceremonial weigh-in later that day, Garcia showed up, beer bottle in hand. Once again, theatrics ensued.
The two will finally square off for the final time. Tomorrow night, it goes down here at Barclays Center.
Alhamdulillah, this is all a dream come true. I dreamed of these moments, and the moment is finally here. Now it's time for me to shine. I'll end this. Get him out of boxing. It's over.
Ryan Garcia. Ryan, intense stuff up there. What were you guys saying to each other?
I just said, meet me in the center of the ring like you. I gave you your money. You better give me my fucking money.
Why did you miss weight? What happened this morning?
I did my best, you know, to make this weight. I put myself through hell. Yeah. Suck my dick.
And Bill Haney reiterated that Garcia would pay.
Like I said before, I'm doubling down on it. If he dies, he dies.
On fight night, Garcia spent his time locked backstage with a string quartet.
Maybe the final song before the crash and burn. It's either the Titanic or the Hannibal Lectern. What prevails? Discipline or disorder? We got 12 rounds to find out. Here we go.
At round 1 start, Garcia pressed as expected. This was followed by the unexpected.
If you're that aggressive, get overconfident. Oh, big left hand by Garcia. Rocks Haney early.
Garcia might be a one-trick pony, but the pony could kick. Garcia smacked Haney around for a good minute before Haney fired back. And by the round's end, Haney seemed to have recovered. Garcia began the second by jumping on his foe, but with his wits back, Haney began connecting his jab. And from that jab flowed other punches. The third saw Garcia pressing, but Haney had timed the left hook and continued boxing. In the round's last minute, Haney got his payback.
Man in the ring. Left hand from Haney. And that causes Garcia to pound his gloves.
Garcia attempted a reply, but Haney smothered the attack. In the fourth, Garcia kept looking for that left hook, while Haney pecked away. By the midway point, Garcia landed a right hand. Then he retreated. The fifth saw more retreating from Garcia, as he was clearly trying to lure Haney into another counter. Haney appeared to get the better of the action. Garcia landed a right hand in the last minute, but Haney replied. Sensing the momentum slipping, Garcia launched combos in the sixth and appeared to stun Haney. After a few flurries, Garcia tired and began clinching. Sensing his opponent's fatigue, Haney pressed and Garcia pulled out the pussy roll. Instead of warning Garcia for illegally turning his back, the referee, Harvey Duck, warned Haney for kidney shots. Haney continued pressing, and now Garcia's success from the first round seemed a distant memory. Was this the best Garcia could muster? The seventh began with more mauling, as Haney uncharacteristically advanced against his tiring foe. Would Garcia find his second wind? He was seriously hurt. Haney held on for dear life, and Garcia's impulsiveness cost him a point. Garcia resumed the beating, and Haney flopped to the canvas multiple times. Thanks to the male-hugging he'd perfected in the Linares fight, and perhaps elsewhere, Haney survived. Revitalized, Garcia began the eighth by slapping Haney around. But once again, Garcia slowed down by the second minute. Haney fired back, forcing Garcia into the pussy roll. Now it was Garcia who clinched. Haney started the ninth angry, pushing Garcia back and sustaining more clinches. Once again, it appeared as if Garcia had squandered his earlier momentum. Garcia retook it in the 10th, opening up with combos. Garcia switched up punching angles and had Haney on the retreat. Another bump buckled Haney, and he desperately clinched. The 11th started relatively quiet, with Garcia once again looking for that hook. In the second minute, he found it. Garcia begged Bill to stop the fight, but when that failed, he returned to smacking Haney. Desperate, Haney launched a right hand that missed. Before the last round, Derrick James, now conscious they were in a winnable fight, tried to keep his charge focused. Haney started the final round by running into an uppercut. Garcia swung, and both men clinched. By mid-round, Haney pressed, landing some shots. The two men traded as best they could. Then, Garcia out-Haney'd Haney. When the final bell rang, Garcia was elated. Although he'd scored 3 knockdowns, Garcia had also spent many rounds failing to land significant shots. On top of this, he was facing a man who seemed to hold some sway with the judges. After months of insanity, Garcia pulled it off by majority decision.
Come on, God, you really thought I was crazy?
Unsurprisingly, Timothy Bradley broke his promise by remaining in the sport. With that, Garcia celebrated his win and even met with President Donald Trump. In another Valuetainment podcast, Garcia revealed his pre-fight antics had been an act. Still, he maintained he was somewhat serious about the human trafficking allegations. As for Haney, he was forced to absorb the usual flood of internet memes. Meanwhile, Haney received emotional support from his family with a scrumptious-looking cake.
And still.
But his father, Bill, appeared to unravel as he released a bizarre video.
But the one thing is that my son is the best son in the world to me. And I love him to death. I'll continue to go in bat for him.
Why did Bill need to affirm that he still loved his son? Was he trying to convince himself after a C-list Instagram model embarrassed his progeny? Bill would later go toe-to-toe with one of Garcia's new high-profile acquaintances, Floyd Mayweather Jr., accusing the man of conspiring against his son.
Listen, I've been knowing you for hella long, but I feel like you're a shit-ass nigga. And you've been hating on me for a long time with that shit you've been blocking. And when my son got down on you, you dig what I'm saying? You act like, you tell us,
Bill,
no, you tell
I'm the under the lights
I got a
fighter.
nigga that don't lie. Yes.
What's my record under the lights? What's my record under the lights?
What's my record?
What is
What's
my
my record in lights? Nigga, what's your record under the lights?
The argument somehow ended up being about urine.
Bill, I ain't gotta get, we ain't gotta have a pistol contest. Bill, I ain't gotta be I ain't gotta talk to you crazy. You know why?
I just pissed a little bit longer than you. What you talking about? We started pissing. You started pissing. I started pissing. What are you talking about?
Bill.
And with that, everyone lived happily ever after. That is until Ryan Garcia tested positive for a banned substance, Ostarine. Garcia shifted the blame around, but it was clear the substance had been in his system. The commission reversed the win, citing that Garcia had failed to inform them of the supplements he'd taken. With that, the fight was now a no contest. It had never happened. Immediately after Garcia's positive test, Haney managed to quickly set up an interview.
I'm a special kind of fighter. I never fought, and a guy has been that much better than me. I've never been overmatched like that, and I've been in there with the best fighters in the world.
Perhaps he'd never felt that way, because he'd finally fought someone his same size. After all, as a documentary later emphasized, Haney had repeatedly boasted about his size advantage to past foes.
He said, "You're too small. Can you read lips?" He said it again. "You're too small. You're too small."
Devin Haney saying you're too small. You're too small.
He said it again. "You're too small. You're too small."
Now, a controversy erupted as fans and experts debated about whether the Austrian had helped Garcia win. One loud voice castigating Garcia was Victor Conte, a man jailed for money laundering and conspiracy to distribute steroids back in the early 2000s. Conte, creator of his own outfit, Balco, had provided PEDs to various athletes, including the boxer Sugar Shane Mosley. After his release, Conte continued working with supplements. No other sport dared open its doors to him.
I can't believe anybody even listens to this guy, anybody even quotes this guy. Victor Conte is a two-faced piece of shit.
except for boxing. There, he began supplying various boxers, including Devin Haney. Conte became an advocate for stricter testing and was considered an authority on PEDs. Now, he went after Garcia, dispelling accusations that he'd worked with the testing organization, WADA, to hijack Garcia's tests. Within weeks of the controversy, an independent documentary titled Secrets Under Secrets premiered on YouTube. There, the anonymous narrator revealed a series of inconsistencies, which raised questions about Conte's involvement in boxing. For starters, Victor Conte's Balco clients never tested positive for PEDs. They won medals and fights, all while testing clean. The only way they were caught was when the feds sorted through Conte's trash can and found paperwork relating to banned substances. The caveat was also that Conte's designer PEDs might not have been illegal, since the testing agencies didn't know they existed, and thus were unable to confirm if they did indeed provide an unfair advantage. On top of this, Conte had and continued to emphasize that PED testing in boxing is ineffective in its current incarnation. A Netflix documentary, Untold Hall of Shame, revealed Conte as an ambitious character, hungry for attention and fame, both of which he's found via boxing.
I think it was his narcissistic personality that, Victor was like, no publicity is bad publicity. I remember the night he went on 2020. He was indicted, but the case hasn't been resolved yet. And we got a call from his defense attorney saying, I don't know what our guy's doing. He's going on 2020 tonight.
You will know that Marion Jones has been through 84 drug tests and has never failed a single one of them.
Well, I know that she was tested many times from the time frame that I worked with her, and she obviously passed all those drug tests, including the ones at the Olympic Games. So as I told you earlier, it's like taking candy from a baby.
So Victor administrated the drugs, then he gave the drug people the system on how to catch you now so that he can do something different, and that's something you can never take from a hustler, the hustle.
I knew that this was the most coveted of all, records and gold medals. So we kind of had a collective dream, and I was the mastermind, so to speak.
Similarly, trainer Virgil Hunter, whose fighter Andrew Ward once worked with Conte, repeated the same assertions, stating, "But look, Victor is a great man. And I don't even know if he'll mind me saying this, but at the same time, I felt that he has one flaw, and I feel that his flaw is his desire for attention, and his desire to be revered in the media exceeded and superseded logic in this situation." Devin Haney appeared in the Netflix documentary defending Conte.
Meet with Victor, then that's when people will come to me and say, oh, he's a cheater and he's gonna try to give you drugs, or he is giving you drugs and stuff like that. But I never really paid attention to it.
Why would Haney ignore the accusations against Conte? Is it because doing so would force him into an argument he can't win? As the drama ensued, Conte became more vocal on Twitter, constantly tagging Haney and Garcia, while simultaneously referring to Haney as "my guy."
Let's, for just a moment, talk about Devin Haney, my guy. My guy.
To recap, Conte, a man famous for concocting novel and undetectable PEDs, made his way into boxing, a sport with mediocre PED testing procedures. Moreover, by many accounts, Conte was a hustler, a man who admitted to wanting to be a part of something great, even if it came via cheating. He was also a man boastful of his misdeeds, even in the face of imprisonment. Could this man be trusted to continue working with athletes such as Haney? And if Conte were to be providing his designer PEDs, how would he be caught? And how would Devin Haney know whether Conte's substances fell within legal boundaries? Another bizarre detail emerged when it was revealed that Haney's younger brother had expected a positive PED test as per a vision presented by Allah.
Is I was on the prayer mat today, and Allah was just telling me he's going to test positive for his drug test. Keeps going in my brain. He keeps saying he's going to test positive for his drug test. He's going to test positive for his drug test.
Was this spiritual revelation too coincidental? Then, the question of what constitutes cheating arose when the Secrets Under Secrets video focused on Haney's weight issues. There, it was revealed that Haney's fight night weight, clocked against Regis Prograis, had stood at over 160 pounds, meaning he'd rehydrated more than 20 pounds for a 140-pound bout. Moreover, the official weigh-in had occurred earlier than usual. Traditionally, weigh-ins were held in the afternoon, meaning the fighters had little over 24 hours to rehydrate. But here, it had taken place in the morning, meaning Haney had 36 hours to pack on more weight. This was not the first time he'd done so, as the WBC president, Mauricio Suleiman, had confirmed to Bill Haney's face that Devin used to rehydrate over 160 pounds back when he was a lightweight.
And your son, after the fight, after the weigh-in, the next day he was 24 pounds over the weight division. The next day when he fought, he was 20 or 24 pounds heavier than the day.
He was hydrated. You said he hydrated up 20 to 24
Absolutely.
pounds.
Bill Haney never denied it. Moreover, the documentary revealed Haney boasting about his size to previous opponents. Despite what Haney fans said, their fighter clearly saw his bulk as an advantage. The Haney fans then countered that this was the system in place by the commissions, and thus legally permitted. But they never once asked whether it should be permitted. The use of banning certain performance-enhancing drugs is applied because these may provide an unfair advantage and is thus considered cheating. This begs the question, if outweighing an opponent is an advantage, is it an unfair one? And should it be considered cheating? Some consider weight bullying as being a myth, but examples show how bigger boxers can absorb more punishment or hit harder on fight night. The subject remains debatable. Meanwhile, Ryan Garcia returned to acting like a maniac. There, he went on expletive-filled rants, demeaning race and religion. This led the World Boxing Council to suspend him. He was fine if the organization wished to punish him. After all, Garcia's online rant had been distasteful. However, the WBC appeared hypocritical for failing to punish Devin Haney for his own racial rant back in 2020.
I would never lose to a white boy in my life. I don't care what nobody got to say. Listen, can't no white boy beat me on any day of the week. Fight a white boy 10 times, I'm gonna beat him 10 times.
Moreover, the WBC never shunned lightweight contender Gervonta Tank Davis for running into a pregnant woman and then fleeing the scene. Did the WBC consider words more harmful than actions? Garcia, meanwhile, continued his disintegration. He went on to denigrate George Kambosos after the Australian lost to Lomachenko. This led to a back and forth between the fighters, culminating with Garcia going after his foe's wife. When called out on his boorish behavior, Garcia apologized and claimed he'd been joking.
Well, we're buying.
Another boxer, super middleweight contender Caleb Plant, went at Garcia, asking why he'd taken the Austrian. Garcia failed to hold back. Plant, no stranger to physical confrontations, vowed to make Garcia pay, though he did so with mixed success. Garcia retorted by claiming to have engaged in coitus with Plant's wife. But Garcia was not the only person self-imploding. Months after the bout, Haney remained inactive, turning down fights which he claimed were beneath him. Then, he sued Ryan Garcia, claiming the defeat had negatively impacted his worth as an attraction. Many doubted the case would go anywhere. Haney did manage to fight, though not in the ring, as he and his friends attempted to batter a carny. Despite outnumbering the individual, Haney and his posse failed. Then, in an interview with retired super middleweight Andre Ward, Haney admitted his circle of friends had shrunk after the Garcia assault. As of this video's release, there remain rumblings about a potential Haney-Garcia rematch with big money involved. Would it be enough, however, to wash away the ugliness served by both fighters? In the end, it was fitting that the first bout had officially been ruled a no-contest, for this was a story devoid of a winner.